All right. Well, hello everyone. Happy Wednesday. Happy Hump Day. We are here live again at 10 a.m. Pacific. Thanks for those of you who've been joining us on this fun series, talking to some amazing marketers doing some amazing things out in the market. Very excited to have with us today, Derek Ries. He's the director of marketing operations and strategy at Better Cloud. Derek, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Would love to maybe have you get started just with a little bit of introduction for yourself, for those that don't know Better Cloud, talk a little about what the company does, and then talk a little about what your role is at the company and what you've been focused on.
Sure. So at a high level, Better Cloud is a SaaS management platform, kind of noted as SMP sort of platform that really enables IT professionals to discover, manage, and secure their SaaS applications. So think of onboarding, think of offboarding, a lot of steps, throughout the whole entire life cycle, a lot of different steps, and really providing sort of a centralized place to really handle all these difficult tasks that IT professionals have to handle. I'm basically the head of the marketing operations team. I focus on infrastructure, analytics, and strategy. Not only at Better Cloud, but just over the course of my career, I've kind of broken things up into three sort of pillars. Pillar one, like ensuring the right data pipes to the right places. So whether that's Marketo and Salesforce or any marketing automation tool or any tool in the technology stack, everything's talking properly to one another. Second pillar is, because all the right data is piping to the right places, really setting up like a self-serve sort of environment where I'm not a bottleneck. Marketing operations doesn't get in the way, so everyone can send out emails. SDRs can send out the direct mail. You can turn on display advertising. I'm not in your way, but there's enough guardrails in place where no one will, email the entire database or, any sort of scary things that marketing ops managers and directors might be afraid of. And then third pillar is kind of just providing prescriptive insights to ensure that teams are constantly optimizing. So, dollar in here, dollar out there, where can we improve? Where do we invest less in? What can we do better? So there's a constant sort of feedback loop. I think that covers it for the most part.
That's awesome. That's one of the best answers we've ever had to that question. Very comprehensive. I have a few places I want to dig in a little further, but would love to have you maybe just walk us through sort of your team in the context with the broader marketing organization. So how is marketing set up at Better Cloud? And then also would love to learn a little bit about how that, your role interacts with other revenue operations groups in the organization.
Great. So for a while, marketing operations at Better Cloud, I was managing myself, which was very fun. There's definitely the pros and cons. The cons being kind of handling sort of everything, especially, as I'm really focused on revenue and things like that. But right now, the marketing operations is a team of two. I have a marketing operations manager. Kashali's the best. And we also have headcount for another operations manager, analyst. We're still trying to figure it out. It's coming in Q3. Really excited for it. I've worked on larger teams where there's data scientists, where there's a couple other operations managers, but here it's, we're lean and mean. But we also work really closely, really hand in hand with the growth team. The growth team is kind of focused on top of the funnel stuff. So the digital marketing managers, the, SEO, SEM, paid social, stuff like that, pulling people into the funnel. The demand generation team, which is a great team that we partner with, who's kind of focused on that MQL to like opportunity conversion and opt to close, and also, some different ABM campaigns and owning that, and working really closely with the sales team because there has to be that gap, bridge over that gap, obviously. And also, folks on that team handling upsells, cross sells, partner marketing, things like that. But yeah, that's what the marketing operations team and growth operations or growth team kind of looks like. There's also content that rolls up to growth, which is, I think, awesome. Then there's corporate marketing. So that's, design, that's, more so focused on the customer experience, where we're not focused on upsells. Mm-hmm. They're just focused on, how do we activate these customers? How do we, get them to do X, Y, and Z to be successful? How do we do, all these different maybe G2 campaigns, to really get that advocacy out. And then there's also a product marketing team.
Wow. I want to double click a little bit about that sales and marketing alignment side, right? Because I think a lot of companies, especially those that are managing complex sales environments, those that are managing long sales cycles, lots of interactions between sales and marketing. It's not just, ooh, someone filled out a form, let's send that lead to sales. It gets a little more complicated than that. Talk a little bit about some of what you consider some of the sort of your keys and best practices to making sales alignment work well at an operational level.
Let's talk about specifically new business.
Mm-hmm.
We could get into customer stuff as well, because that's really fun, a fun, challenging thing. But let's talk about new business, and MQL comes in.
Yep.
So something we've done, and something I've sort of made sure the demand generation team really focuses on, is that MQL to opportunity conversion.
Mm-hmm.
It's the handoff normally happens at the MQL, or historically it has. Things have changed a lot over time, obviously. So what we kind of do is, once an MQL comes in, whether it's a demo request, whether it's someone implicitly showing interest, we have an MQL milestone that we kind of stamp that with.
Mm-hmm.
So this person filled out a form, this person downloaded this piece of content, attended this event, and then we actually build out different sales loft cadences. So I know exactly the messaging that the SDR team is providing to this prospect, and I can sort of mirror it with the same messaging on, say, a Marketo Nurture campaign, or direct mail, or ABM advertising, whatever it might be. So you could really sort of thread the entire journey, and really focus on the entire journey, so people aren't getting conflicting messaging here and there.
I love it.
But yeah, that's really helpful, and also just making sure that there's clear SLAs, making sure there's buy-in all across the board. It's crucial.
Yeah. No, I think a lot of companies, I think, put a lot of good focus on strategic sales and market alignment, and don't really think through all the details, right? Like, what does alignment look like on Tuesday? Like, from scoring to lead pass along to what the follow-up sequences look like. What's changed, maybe things in the last year, sort of as you've had to make some pivots on a go-to-market motion during the pandemics? What are some adjustments that have become fixtures now, as we emerge a little bit and sort of get back to sort of a new normal?
I honestly don't know if there's a specific thing that's sort of COVID related, but a focus that we've really had over the last year, and that I really helped with my scoring, with routing, with all different things like that in alignment with sales, is deciding this is our ICP. These are the folks that the sales team will sell to, based on employee count that we decide is our ICP, based on technographics, based on for-profit, not-for-profit, based on location. And that ICP was kind of worked sort of bottoms up. So who are the customers who renew year over year over year and are really successful? Then kind of going, who can we close on? What's the most likelihood that we could close a new business deal, with this prospect, and sort of even going a little bit higher. So demo requests, they always get pushed through. But as it relates to implicit interest, kind of behavioral MQLs, and the scoring and the routing, there's sort of this universe that we will only push through if they kind of meet the specific criteria, even if they exceed a different, if they exceed our lead scoring threshold. And we have a pretty complicated lead scoring threshold, where it's sort of the matrix with the A's and the 1s through 4s. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Even if they exceed it, they still have to be within this specific universe, or else they'll have to request a demo, and then they could get pushed through. So that's been a big update. I mean, we saw a lot of people who kind of were not in our ICP converting into pipeline, but they just weren't closing. So we're being more sort of really more focused on revenue, and that kind of definitely shows it. And over the last 12 months, that's been a really big key change for us, and really alignment across the board.
It's a key change. It's not something we've seen. I mean, it's still pretty special when companies do that, right? We can talk about optimization on performance on the marketing itself, but optimizing around the revenue impacts is another thing entirely. And sometimes they give you different answers as you optimize based on the metrics you're looking at. You mentioned earlier sort of really putting a focus on optimization and looking at the data and figuring out how to be better. Can you talk a little bit about what's your process for doing that? What kind of review cycles are you looking at with your team at an operational level, with your managers, with head of marketing, head of sales? Like what kind of cadence are you using to create continuous improvement from the marketing efforts that you're doing?
So let's talk about, I guess we'll go marketing ops, then marketing level, then just go to market level and sales. So with marketing ops, obviously, it's like I mentioned before, I lead a mean team of 2 folks. We're doing weekly sprints, daily virtual stand-ups. We're building out dashboards, leveraging a lot of visible data and different touch point data, all across the funnel, where different marketing teams can then kind of go look at these dashboards in Salesforce or in Tableau and really see how are they trending towards their goal. Because, North Star for everyone, for a lot of companies, especially when they're trying to be revenue driven and have marketing hours that are revenue driven, is marketing source pipeline. It might not be tangible to someone who's doing digital marketing, someone who's focused, so far away from pipeline. Back?
You're back.
Sorry.
It's one of those weird things where, I mean, look, it's you never know. I never know if it's me. Like, are the kids streaming upstairs? But
Yeah.
you're back. No, but if we lost just a little towards the beginning there, just talking about the marketing operations review and optimization cycles. When we pick back.
Yeah. So marketing operations, we have daily stand-ups, this tool called Status Hero that I started using when I was a product manager. I love it. And people were in the office. We have weekly sprints. We run weekly sprints. So there's sort of postmortems at the end of each week and retros. There's sprint planning, the beginning of each week, kind of intaking and prioritizing our tasks. Then you kind of go a little bit further, and there's sort of dashboards built for the entire marketing team. So what I kind of was mentioning before, I don't know when I got cut off, sorry about that, was for a digital marketer, maybe, marketing source pipeline isn't really tangible to them. So how can I help build a dashboard or build something that shows how they're pacing towards goal? So those are all built out where it's basically just waterfall sort of logic. I know what a web to lead to MQL, MQL to SEL, all through the funnel, the conversion rates that we should be hitting in order to hit our pipeline goal. But it's broken down very granularly in that specific regard. So that's kind of always on. I do meet with our FP&A team monthly to kind of go over ad spend. How can we spend more on this channel? What are we seeing? So they know our money's not going to waste, and we're definitely really focused on it. And also I do QBRs for the entire marketing team each quarter, which is a lot of fun. Where it's kind of mostly the way I do it is sort of a bottoms up analysis. I don't get too into the SEO weeds. I don't get too far into really top of the funnel stuff, where it's like in Google Analytics, more so once someone does convert from anonymous to known, what's sort of the best path to convert them into pipeline. So I normally will do a marketing all hands. I'll present that, and then I'll meet with teams separately, whether it's demand generation or product marketing or anyone who just wants to talk through how it impacts them, to kind of give them that one-to-one sort of discussion with that. Besides that, going even further out, we have a bi-weekly sales and marketing sync where we kind of go through with sort of an agenda. What are we going to tackle this week? What's working? What's not working? That helps a lot. And then also I've been working on a lot of cool projects. They're not completely done yet, and I don't really have the answers yet, but I've been working with the data operations team on sort of like, what's that golden path? There's obviously no such thing as a golden path, but what's those 2,000 or so permutations and what works best, whether sales and marketing touch points, all at different stages of the funnel.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it. And yeah, obviously, sales teams do QBRs. But yeah, QBRs are sort of the biggest thing that the biggest lift for marketing operations, but it could go in a lot of different directions.
Well, we could probably spend a whole nother one of these just talking about QBRs. You did say earlier, and I have you quoted here, you said QBRs are fun. You may be the first person I've ever heard say that QBRs are fun. But honestly, like if you come prepared, if you come with data, if you come with the mindset that like, listen, we're here to improve. Some things went well, some things didn't go well. Let's just figure out how to get better. That can be an enjoyable experience if you're moving the needle forward. So I like that a lot. All right, I have one more question for you, and before we get into the lightning round, as I'm kind of keeping watching the clock here. Just as you clearly have a lot of stuff you're working on, you got a lot of things you're holding up. What are some of the keys for you for like priority project task management? How do you prioritize the important stuff over the urgent, simply the things that are sort of simply urgent? How do you make sure you're focused on the right thing?
So like I mentioned before, I work on a sprint cycle. It's just a weekly sprint. So I'm prioritizing, what's in the backlog, what's currently in flight. Can I have another team work on this? What's the swim lanes between different operations teams across the entire company? Like I said before, I try to be as little of a bottleneck as possible. So there's email template, or rather reporting templates set up. There's different things like that. So I just try to get myself away from it, but also at the same time, Kashal, my marketing ops manager, he's owning a lot more projects, which is really helpful. We're just implementing a competitive tool. We just implemented Uberflip. He's really helping with a lot of things I used to be focused on, and I'm handing off more to him as he gets more comfortable. But yeah, it's all about, what are you going to work on, the following week, and how much time are you planning to work on, different tasks the following week. It's all a product management sort of mindset that I kind of follow.
Love it. All right. Well, we got time for a quick lightning round. These are quick questions, quick answers, learn a little more about you, get the more well-rounded Derek Ries. All right, ready?
Let's do it.
All right. First question, favorite unsung tech tool in your MarTech stack and why?
I mentioned Status Hero before, which is a great stand-up tool. That's really great. But I would have to say an even better tool that I've used a ton in the past is G Sheets. Not G Sheets, G Connector, where you can pipe data from Google Analytics, from Salesforce into a Google Sheet and kind of do, different sort of analysis on it. Have reoccurring, it's the runs, and it's like $15 a month.
Love it. All right. What is one sales or marketing pet peeve that you have?
I one time had I think this kind of answers it in sort of a quote or a question that I received from someone one time. One time I had a sales rep be like, "Can you ABM the crap out of my accounts?" Where they clearly did not understand what ABM meant, and that's why we've rebranded everything to ABX or AWE, whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think if you're using ABM as synonymous with spam, that is probably not a good thing. That is a good one. All right. What's one guilty pleasure? And this doesn't have to just be like work or sales or marketing. What's one guilty pleasure that you are in fact proud of?
I have like a guilty secret. Like I was in a man band in my prior life before marketing. I call it a man band. Some people might call it a boy band. We were a rock band that played pop music. I couldn't right away. I couldn't really think of a guilty sort of pleasure, but that's like a secret that I don't really tell too many people.
It doesn't sound like a secret. It sounds like you were in a band and people went to see you, and that doesn't sound like a very secret thing.
It's a secret now, unless you
not anymore. Now everybody knows. That's awesome. That you were in a band. Very cool. All right. Two related questions. We're gonna wrap up. What's a key part of your morning routine to sort of get started and start working?
I drink a lot of Nespresso in the morning. I walk the dogs in the morning. I try to do a workout. If I don't have enough time to do a workout, I'll do some kettlebell swings. That's kind of it. Just getting my mind in the right sort of place is sort of key.
Love it, love it, love it. Okay, an associated question: what is a key part of your afternoon or evening sort of done with work routine?
I would say it's really crucial to, sort of split up the day between work and the end of day if you have the luxury to do so. So maybe like winding down with a glass of wine or, hanging out with my dogs, hanging out, I live in Woodstock, which is 2 hours outside of New York. So I have a creek and stuff like that. So trying to just get out of the house because so there's some days where you kind of just get stuck in here.
Oh yeah. Love it, love it. All right. Well, Derek Ries, Director of Marketing Ops for Better Cloud. Thanks so much for joining us and sharing a little more about what makes you tick and what makes you work.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next time.